So I wanted to take a minute to elaborate a little bit more in regard to soul wounds or inner child wounds and how energies can carry over to create disabilities, to create mental illness. Okay, this is about karma. This is about energy. When you understand the soul as the culmination or the collection of all aspects of your psyche, and it is also the part of you that continues forward from lifetime to lifetime, and it is also the part of you that collectively carries your experiences, it makes a lot more sense. So I want to give you guys some examples as to why the 3D world and the clinical world labeling things is detrimental and blocks most people's ability to see things spiritually. Let me start by giving you an example as to how autism may manifest based on energy being carried over from a previous lifetime. So when you understand karmic experiences and taboo experiences and the darkness that is part of the human experience and the things that some people go through in order to cause them to exist within certain energetic states. So for example, when you talk about stimming, when you talk about autism, being on a spectrum, but at the foundational level, there is typically a sense of overwhelm, right? In certain experiences, in certain instances, being triggered by a variety of different things. And then let's backtrack that. What is something that could have happened to someone for them to get stuck in that energetic state and for it to manifest for them in this lifetime as autism? Think about that. Because relative to my number system, ego, fear, overwhelm, all of these are 5 matters. This is the realm of 5, okay? So when someone's ego is triggered, right? That is what's triggered and causes discomfort. That is what's triggered and titrates the shadow to doing something oppositional, something violent, right? Whether violent toward the self or toward another. This is ego. These are ego issues. And the ego is also the part of the psyche that carries previous traumas and contributes to our subconscious minds attracting certain things or being attracted to certain things. So when you think of it that way, and then you backtrack even further, understanding that soul wounds, inner child wounds, are the predetermining circumstance that triggers that ego reaction and then triggers that shadow opposition. It's the 2-5-7 sequence. That's what I've named it. What is something that could have occurred to someone in a previous lifetime to make them so scared, so full of overwhelm, that it would manifest as neurodivergence in this lifetime? Think about that. What I'm visualizing is someone being so surrounded by chaos and trauma and not knowing what to do, and them taking themselves and sitting into a corner and rocking back and forth on the floor with their hands over their ears, screaming and crying. That is a wound of overwhelm. Being forced to endure electroshock therapy to try and tend to those symptoms because you existed in a time that was not trauma informed. That would contribute to a wound of overwhelm. Do you see what I'm talking about energetically? What creates the energy you are existing in now? And that is going to help you understand what you're carrying from a previous lifetime. And there are metaphysicians who would also add to this concept, right? That when mental illness is at play or when any sort of disability or neurodivergence is at play, it's typically also going to be associated with fragmentation of the soul. Fragmentation of the soul is directly correlated with trauma. Okay, so this is trauma, you guys. This is trauma. Like, when we talk about karma, we're not always talking about something you did wrong. We're simply talking about energies that need to play out and the more you can learn to properly navigate and learn from these energies, right? And lean into opposite action and move differently and step into your strength instead of allowing fear to engulf you and suffocate you. That is also karmic. So it's not something to fear, my loves, or to be ashamed of or angered by. It is something to simply accept and understand and learn to see. Because when you can see it, you won't be afraid of it. You will welcome it. You will be able to see things coming back, and you will be able to see yourself stepping into a different way of handling a circumstance. And you will be able, especially if you use numerology or my number system, you will be able to receive energetic, numeric frequency confirmation via numbers. It's nothing to be afraid of. And I know that people can be triggered if I say that something that is a part of their life is karmic. I know that can be hard to hear. But I also don't understand that. We all have our own karmic lessons and our own karmic paths, every single one of us. None of us is exempt. It just looks different for each of us. So when you have autism, what is your karmic lesson? Recognizing the wound of overwhelm, right? Recognizing your fears, leaning into your strength as best possible. I know it's on a spectrum, and I know some experience this in a much more severe manner than others. But at the end of the day, the focus is honing that energy, tapping into understanding how to manage your overwhelm. Also learning to embrace the imperfection that is the human experience. It's very interesting, but when you can understand that there is a lesson and a reason for everything we endure, it doesn't have to be scary. Take care.